Mm. Yup. What's good, everybody? What's good, y'all? How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling today? Excuse me for a moment. Excuse me for a moment right here, real quick, while I look in my archives to see that one video that was. Oh no, I already talked about that last week. Never mind. I guess I didn't save the quote. Anyways, y'all. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. Excuse me. Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? Welcome. Welcome. As you can see the shirt. Let me stand up, give y'all a better look. Better look at it. That shit airbrushed on the motherfucker. That shit's fire. That shit fire right here. I ain't even gonna hold you. It's fire. Like at first, when I first got it, cause the dude at the fucking swap meet, bruh, like I wanted like a quote on the back, like a little sentence and shit. And he was like, "Oh, that. See, the problem is, and blah blah." He's like talking about the problem. I'm like, "What the?" I'm like, "What is the problem? Like, there's no problem." But he was like, "Oh, this is that. I charge $60 per word and all this shit." I'm like, $60 per word. I'm like, Just give me the design." I'm like, "Just do the design." I'm like, "Fuck it. Let me just get the design and I'll get the fuck out of here." But like, even when I went to go pick up the shirt, like someone went to him. Someone went to him to try and get like some like feather like Apache, you know what I mean? Like some Apache thing. Like it's got a bunch of feathers on it or whatever. It's like I don't know, it's like Apache-ish, you know what I mean? Like y'all know what I'm talking about, like the freaking feathers, fucking feathers. Yeah, it's the feathers, right? Yeah, yeah, the little feathers and shit when they have on their like, I don't know what the right term is, but I'm gonna just say on their little like headgear, whatever, stuff like that. One of their little accessories. He tried to get that airbrush and then he's like, "Oh, see, the problem is that if I try to brush it and blah blah and do this and do that, like I'm like, yo, he's doing the same shit he did with me to this fool. He's already talking about problems and shit. There's no problem." But low key, I understood what he said and I was just like, all right then, let me just shut the fuck up. Let me just back off real quick. You know what I mean? So I went and I got the shirt and I opened it and I was like, mm. And I was like thinking, I was like, yo, the logo is small. I wanted like the no signal to be like a big ass like up here, like no signal, like more up top, and then the basketball like expanded, like make it a little bigger and stuff, and then podcast on the bottom, just in the same way as the no signal on the top. But either way, either way, it came out good. Either way, it came out good. I really liked it and shit. After I got the shirt, this was last week, last Saturday and shit. After I got the shirt, I had the idea. I was like, yo, what if I go to LA? Cause let me paint the picture for you guys. Cause I know some people, like most of the people that watch my shit or whatever, or barely the people that watch my shit, I I doubt like they follow me on the motherfucking Instagrams. So the Instagrams, they seen the little video I posted. It's like, "Oh, you gonna watch the Laker game tonight?" And I just came out in the cup with just straight Denver gear, bro. Like head to toe. The mellow. I had the mellow Jordan twos on. I had the mellow Jordan twos on. That shit was fucking fire. Black pants, whatever. Even when I went to LA, there was some dude right there at his like stand at his booth or whatever, selling shirts and stuff. He's like, "Hey man, those some nice shoes right there. Those some nice shoes." And then I was like, "Oh man, appreciate it. Thank you." I had a burp right there. My bad. Excuse me, y'all. But when I went to LA, yo, I went to LA in straight Denver gear. And it was so funny because everyone, like, all eyes were on me and shit. And I was just like, damn, like, is this what it feels like? I'm like, damn, this is kind of crazy right now. I'm like, yo, this is like, I'm the main character right now. Everybody's looking at me and shit. It felt like I was like a main character and shit. That shit was funny as fuck. But either way, the fuck is that? Who's that? Ah, I already know who that is. Never mind. Uh, all right, there we go. My bad. I had to fuck with my computer real quick. But anyways, to go back to what I was saying about Saturday and shit, I interviewed some people. Y'all could check that out on my TikTok, Uncle Mondo 7. If y'all don't have me on TikTok already or checked it out, I post mainly podcast clips and like just fucking basketball shit, just random shit, honestly. But I what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I interviewed like a couple, like a good handful of people, like from my TikTok and shit. It was like a 10-minute video and shit. Once I got the 10-minute mark, I was like, oh, all right, then let me go home now. But I was out there for like an hour and a half, or some shit like that. I was like out there for a good minute and shit, low key. But anyways, man, it was good. It was good. It was a good time. Honestly, it was a good last minute thing. Cause that was a last minute thing. I'm like, yo, I got Denver gear on. I'm like, yo, what? I had the idea, what? How would it be if I just went to LA right now in front of Staples and straight Denver gear and just interview people, like asking them Laker questions while I'm wearing Denver shit? Like even people, when I was walking up to people, I was like, hey, excuse me, you guys, can I ask you some questions real quick for my TikTok, whatever? I'm making a little video. And then some of them were like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, that's good. It's fine. Once they started being like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, that's fine. No, you good. Like, I'm not trying to waste their time and shit. You know what I mean? But the people that did want to get into it, want to get in the interview, I was like, hey, all right. So I'm here with, what's your name? And then they'll be like, oh, Adam. Oh, Ray. And they'll say something like that. You know what I mean? And I'll just be like, oh, who do you think needs to put in more work tonight, Reeves or D'Lo? And then like majority of them said D'Lo. Majority of them said D'Lo, and I was just like, shit. All right then, fuck it. D'Lo got to put in work. But D'Lo's numbers ever since that interview was on Saturday night. We won that game Saturday night. I thought it was gonna be the last game of the season. D'Lo had 21 points that game. That game on Saturday, 21 points. So on the closeout game on Monday, he had 14 points. Shot 6 for 15, 2 for 10 from the 3-point. Wow. And 2 turnovers. But it's like, come on, man. Come on, man. -10 with Justin Holiday? Holy shit. But yeah, man, I interviewed a good amount of people and shit. It was fun. Like doing something like that, like doing like I'm so used to doing shit like this, like podcasting and shit, just talking amongst myself and shit, just, you know, just feeding off my own instincts, my own mind and shit. Like it's crazy. Not crazy, but it's just like fun, cuz there was times where I was just like, yo, I want to talk more about this shit, you know what I mean? Like even like interviewing like the dudes, he was like, "Oh, I think Darvin Ham's not going to be here next year." Or I asked him, I was like, "Oh, you think LeBron will be here next year?" I was like, "You think this will be the last game of LeBron in a Lakers uniform, in a Lakers gear?" And they'll be like, "Oh, I think one more year. I think 2 more years and blah blah." Like I don't even know. I think I asked one dude and he said, "Oh, he's done. Like after this, he's done." Let me get to that real quick. Let me get to that. Now that the Lakers are done, Lakers got eliminated. Denver. What should the Lakers do to improve? Was one of my questions and shit. Honestly, bro, like at this point, like, cause you could look at it both ways. You could look at it 2 ways and shit. LeBron stays on the Lakers and just boom, money coming in. Lakers, money coming in. Money coming in for the Lakers. Cause everyone's gonna want to watch. Everyone's gonna want to witness. You know what I mean? Witness the greatness of LeBron. But at the same time, like when LeBron's not on the floor, like we're more of a team. We're more like of a unit and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like there's been like a handful of games and shit. A handful of games like even last year and shit when LeBron was out a couple games and stuff. And this year too. Like we could win without Braun, man. We can do it, bro. Like we can. Like everyone thinks like, LeBron, if LeBron's off the Lakers, the Lakers are tanking and stuff. We're not gonna compete with good teams anymore. We might not be able to compete with Denver and shit or like Minnesota, OKC, teams like that. You know what I mean? Like young fucking running like young running players and shit. You know what I mean? That just run the floor fucking nonstop and shit. You know what I mean? But at the same time, like the Lakers need to get more younger. We can't fucking get how my gosh. This is gonna fucking start taking me back and shit, and I don't want to go back. But just for example, real quick example, like Montrezl Harrell, fucking uh Trevor Ariza, Carmelo Anthony, DeAndre Jordan, when we had what Russell Westbrook, when we had all those guys on one team and we were just like the oldest team in the NBA. It's like, bro, we can't fucking have, old people, old players and shit. They're fucking all these old veteran players need to be with the young guys and shit, like mentoring them and shit. Like you could see Fred Van Vliet change the whole culture with I'm gonna say Fred Van Vliet and Ime Udoka. They both changed the culture in Houston because Houston was a straight losing team when they had a Steven Silas, straight losing team, not even contending for a play-in. This year they almost contended for a play-in, but they kept losing, and then Golden State ended up like winning some of their last games, and then that's how they got in the play-in and shit. But that's besides the fact. I'm just saying the Lakers need to get more younger. Obviously, we can't go through like draft picks and stuff. We don't have enough picks like that and shit. But let's look around. Let's look out to the fucking overseas. Like, obviously, get European players over here and shit. You know what I mean? Like, let's get some fucking European, like, talented players that actually know the fundamentals and shit. You know what I mean? Rather than get some dude from college that's just a highlight reel, only like 15 seconds of highlights throughout the whole game and shit like that. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying, man, I feel like we should, but at the same time, we can't do nothing because he's like, at this point, he's like, what, a restricted free agent? You know what I mean? Like, he's not unrestricted. He's a restricted free agent, if I'm not mistaken. If I know my basketball well enough, if I know my offseason terms well enough, I'm pretty sure he's like a restricted free agent or whatever. But at the same time, we extended him. We extended his contract, but in his contract there's like a no trade clause or something. I heard that circling around, so like we can't really like get shit for him because the no trade clause, but at the same time like he has the option to fucking just walk out and leave, which is even more fucked because you're like, yo, the dude we just paid so much millions, all our money to, just fucked us over and just fucked off. You know what I mean? Like, you got to look at it that way, especially like the money we gave AD. Like, yo, that could have been for someone else. Like, say LeBron recruits good enough and we get a Klay Thompson. You know what I mean? Say LeBron recruits good enough and we get a Klay Thompson. Like, that's what the fuck we need. We need 3-point. We need 3-point shooters. We need motherfuckers to space the floor. We need big guys to space the floor. Like a fucking, who's a good big man that can shoot the three? I heard Valanciunas' name being floated around because I don't know if pretty sure he's gonna be a free agent after this season. He's with the Pelicans right now, but at the same time, it's like, it might work, it might not work. Because if it might work, we get Valanciunas, put him at the 5, AD at the 4, to where he's more comfortable, and we keep Jackson Hayes, Christian Wood, keep those guys off the bench and shit. I mean, come on, man. And if it don't work, then shit. Fucking then I guess we're gonna be stuck with him through the season, but I don't know, man. This shit's tough. As a Laker fan, it's tough, man. Especially like losing to Denver again, especially that last game when Murray hit another fucking game winner. You motherfucker. Murray, yo, check up. I'm not in my gear right now, but check up. Honestly. Check up. Fuck ass Murray. Yeah, I'll defend you. I'll guard you myself. Since the Lakers can't do it, I'll guard you myself. Straight up. Check up. Check up. Oh man. Let's move on right here, man. Phoenix gets swept by the Timberwolves. What should Phoenix do to improve their roster? Honestly, bro, let me look at their lineup right here. because they got swept on a Saturday. Sunday. They got swept on Sunday. Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards finished with 40 points, 9 rebounds, and 6 assists, 2 blocks to go to that. Cat, 28 and 10. Shit. But that's Minnesota. Over here on Phoenix, you got Booker. Booker did all he can to keep the Suns afloat. Even Kevin Durant. Booker, 44 minutes, 49 points, 5 rebounds and 6 assists to go along with 2 steals. KD, 33, 9 rebounds and 5 assists, 4 blocks. Oh shit. And here's the problem right here. Bradley Beal, 31 points. 31 minutes, 9 points. So 31 minutes, 9 points. I mean, I don't know what the fuck the owner. I seen a bunch of quotes from like people or whatever. Like not GMs, but like the fucking journalists guys or whatever, saying like the people that have, closer ears to the teams than I do and stuff. Let's just put it that way. There's been some like circulating news, whatever, that the owner Matt Ishbia, that he don't know shit. That he don't know shit about basketball. I guess that he just whatever. It's like, as an example, like money doesn't make you happy. So you get all this money and you think, oh, if I buy this, if I buy that, oh, get all these assets or whatever, get all these gifts for myself, then I'm gonna be happy. But in the end, it's not gonna fulfill. It's not gonna get you the NBA championship. It's not gonna fulfill that happiness void. So that's all I heard. I heard that he don't know shit about basketball, but I'm pretty sure he don't. Especially like what trading. They traded for They traded for Bradley Beal, right? So you traded a point guard, CP3 for Bradley Beal. And Bradley Beal is like the same as a Booker. So you got 2 Devin Bookers, 2 scores, just straight up, just need the ball in their hands. They need a score to get some leverage, to gain some traction and shit. You know what I mean? So that way the team can, follow together and shit. But you got a bunch of these players like that fucking didn't even play, DNPs. Bobo, Devin Eubanks, Isaiah Thomas. I mean, you're not going to use Isaiah Thomas in the playoffs in the first round and shit, but I'm just saying, like, these other guys, Bobo, Devin Eubanks, like, especially, like, I'm pretty sure they were playing small ball the whole fucking game, because Nurkic is the only center that was I'm guessing in the game, because the only people that got minutes are Nasir Little, Josh Okogie, and Eric Gordon off the bench. Like, no, those aren't big men. Those aren't going to get you rebounds. Those aren't going to get you defense and shit. You know what I mean? So it's just pretty much like Phoenix right now. Their roster looks like nothing but just straight small forwards and guards. Honestly, like not even, Devin Eubanks, center, power forward, however you want to put it. Thaddeus Young right here, fucking small forward. Might be a power forward. I don't know his stature. He's forward. He's just a straight forward. I mean, 6'8", 225 pounds. I mean but he's skinny. He's a slim power forward. So you just put him at the small. You know what I mean? I say that a lot. I caught that I say that a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Damn. But to answer my question, what should the Phoenix Suns do to improve their roster? Trade Bradley Beal. Like, it didn't work, so now you're gonna have to. Like, Matt Ishbia went on his press conference and he said, something about blowing it up after one season. You're not gonna blow up the whole KD and Booker duo, because as you can see, KD 33, Booker 49. You're not gonna split that up, because they're both fucking shooters. They're both respected scorers, honestly. But Bradley Beal, on the other hand, he's like You know, he was better in Washington. Had his own team. He was the leader and everything like that. Was getting 40s, 50 balls and shit. Pause, no Diddy. Was getting 40, 50-point games, you know, to correct myself. But other than that, I feel like he's like, you know, well, when Bradley Beal first came in, he was the second option to a John Wall. And then when John Wall left, then boom, like here's the keys, Bradley Beal. I'm I'm just saying, man, I feel like they should trade Bradley Beal to like a small market just to get like at least two or three like role players and shit. Like solid role players and shit. You know what I mean? There you go. There you go with that. Know what I mean? Shit. But not fucking. Don't get like veteran motherfuckers and shit. Get like good young players that would actually like fucking that would want to play with a KD. That would want to play with a Booker and shit like that. Just get young guys that are just excited to have to be around greatness in the locker room and shit. You know, like with KD and Booker. Like I said, you know. So, with that being said, on the other hand, on the Minnesota Timberwolves hand, yo, Ant-Man, you's a fucking dog. Ant-Man is a fucking dog, man. Ant-Man is like the only like, what is it? He gives me that feeling of the old, like the mid 2000s fucking energy and shit. You know what I mean? Like coming in the press conference with a fucking, with the, what is it, Braves hat and shit like that, all blacked out and shit. Showing up to the arena like all comfy and shit. Like, you know how fucking Allen Iverson used to show up with like sweats and a fucking baggy sweater and shit. Like that's Ant-Man, bruh. That's Ant-Man. He's bringing that whole energy and shit. That's what I love about him, man. And just everything, his attitude, the way he carries himself, the way he talks to the team, the way he carries the team, you know, leads the team pretty much. And the way he's just himself. Honestly, he's just himself. Like y'all seen in the press conference after the sweep when he was talking to Kat about foul trouble and shit like that, and Kat was like, "Oh, like, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding." Kat was like, well, "I just want to play a little extra defense and stuff like that." And then Ant-Man, he's just like, "Just stop fucking fouling. Just stop fucking fouling." Honestly, like just being straight up with him. He's like, "Yeah, you playing defense, but just stop fucking fouling. Just stop fouling, because." Hey, Ant-Man, he knows what the fuck, he knows how it is. Like, Cat goes out, foul trouble, whatever. The team needs to pick it up on the defensive end, you know, because the other team, no matter what other team they're gonna, like for example, Denver, they're gonna play Denver next round. So, you know, if Cat gets into foul trouble, boom, Jokic is just gonna straight take advantage of Gobert, and then whatever. I'm pretty sure Naz Reid is gonna guard Aaron Gordon and shit. Just watch out for that backdoor cut, because Braun was straight getting fucked over with that backdoor cut. Honestly, just watch that backdoor cut. But either way, if the Timberwolves don't pick it up on the defensive end with Cat out on the floor, off the floor and shit. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be tough. It's just gonna be tough for them for real. But yeah, even like the quotes coming out, people. Or what is it? The ESPN guys, the fucking Sports Center guys, whatever, talking about what is his name? Talking about Jordan and shit. Oh, I talked to Jordan about Ant-Man, and they're like, oh, do you see any comparison or whatever? And then he's like, oh, I see some greatness, or I see some shades of it or whatever. I don't see shades of like Michael Jordan or whatever. Maybe on some plays, like certain plays, like in the post or like. Just any other shit, man. I don't know. But he just reminds me of like a young like Kobe, like a young Bean. And I see all these like people like commenting and shit like, oh, Kobe would have loved him. R.I.P. Bean, man. R.I.P. But yeah, Kobe would have loved that motherfucker. For real. Kobe would have like took him in as like a son and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like just imagine like Kobe hitting up Anthony Edwards, or Anthony Edwards hitting up Kobe, like, hey, let's get some off-season work. Let's get some work in. Oh, all right, I'll see you there at 4. Oh, like 4 p.m. No, 4 a.m. Shit. Like, man. And to top it off, today's Gianna's birthday. Today, Gigi would have been 18. So, real quick, before I continue on any further, let's give a moment of silence for Gigi and her birthday. One love, straight up. One love to the Bryant family, man. Straight up. But like I said, man, and Edwards, dog, man, for real. I really like his game. I really like the way he like carries himself and shit. Especially like he ain't got no filter. He ain't got no filter. Y'all seen those fucking those videos he posted, or I don't know if y'all seen that one video he posted with those like dudes, like these like, you know, gay guys and shit. They was outside the club or whatever wearing those like see-through like with the holes in them and shit, those shirts or whatever. And he's like, man, look at these queer ass niggas, man. That fool ain't give no fucks. That fool ain't give no fucks. That shit's hilarious. But if the NBA, not even if the NBA, the association, love it or not, Ant-Man is the face of the NBA. Love it or not, Ant-Man is the face of the NBA. I know they might have wanted John Morant or someone like that to be the face of the NBA, but hey, man. Hey, man. Hey, he's stepping up. He's him. Ant-Man is him. For real. For real. You gained a fan, Ant-Man. For real. I'm a fan for real. Nigga, you was a fan. Nah, man, but I was gonna say something else too. I was gonna say something else. Like, I don't know. He just reminds me of that old, like, you know, mid 2000s fucking energy and shit. You know, one of those foods that keeps you young. If that makes sense. I don't know. You know, like those, like, for example, like, oh, like when you hear a certain song, it brings you back to when you were young, or when you eat a certain food, it brings you back to when you were like a little kid and shit. Seeing Ant-Man's game, that like just straight dog energy, just straight attack, like attack mode and shit, like, and being vocal at the same time, like, damn, man. That shit just reminds me of like my childhood and shit, for real. But anyways, man, Kendrick dropped the Drake diss. A lot of people saying that Kendrick lost, but at the same time, I feel like Kendrick won because Kendrick put that out. You know what I mean? He put that out straight bars, straight in the from the studio and shit. On the other hand, you got Drake over here using fucking AI. He might have used AI for his verse. You know, Drake might have used AI for his own verse, but at the same time, like, you using an AI Tupac and shit. Like, what the fuck? Like, who does that? Like, that's weird as fuck. Especially, like, what is it? Like, Tupac's, like, what is it? They call it estate or something like that. His, like, relatives or something like that. Some shit. Like, people close to him. Like, they wanted to, like, you know, file a lawsuit against Drake or some shit. If I'm not mistaken. I don't really keep in touch with, like, the rap industry, the rap music, hip hop industry, music, whatever, these days and shit. Because these days I'm just straight like thinking about basketball and shit, like basketball news and shit. Like Trey Young, for example, Trey Young came out and on his podcast, his co-host brought up his old quote saying, "Oh yeah, I want to be in Atlanta and stuff like that. I want to win here in Atlanta." But Trey Young was just like iffy. He sounded like iffy about Atlanta, like when he answered it. He's like, "Oh, when I got drafted here, I was fully invested." You know, I'm not saying exactly word for word what he said, but I'm just like, you know, elaborating what he said pretty much. He was like, he was pretty much fully invested in Atlanta, you know, coming in, especially being traded from Dallas and shit. And then Atlanta just accepting him and shit, you know, the whole ice tray and all that shit. Fucking, you know, him and Quavo like hit it off like off the jump and shit. And what else? He was just saying like, oh, something, I want to win here, but you know, some teams, they take winning like, you know, slowly and shit, like a whole process and shit. They take winning like, slowly and shit or whatever. But nah, like Trae Young is like he's in win now mode, especially like I'm pretty sure like the hunger from the playoffs it's like burning inside of him and shit. You know what I mean? Like that whole fucking that run against the New York Knicks when they're like, "Oh, fuck Trae Young." Like, oh, like motherfucker, like, yo, if I was Trae Young and a whole fucking fan base was doing that shit, like to me, like hating on me, ooh, that shit would just motivate the fuck out of me. I'll be like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Especially him. He's like, oh, like it's quiet as fuck in here. It's quiet as fuck in here. Like, damn, bro. Like that. Talk your shit, bro. Talk your shit for real. Like you deserve to talk your shit when you fucking hit a fucking floater to silence the crowd like that. I think it was a floater that time. I'm pretty sure it was a floater. He hit the floater and then fucking just walked off. And then he's like, hey, it's quiet as fuck in here. But speaking of the Knicks, man, yo, the Knicks need to pull this off. I'm not trying to see the Knicks get outed the fucking first round. Like, Tyrese Maxey pulled a fucking Reggie Miller last night. And I missed it. I seen the first shot when he got the 4-point play, and I was like, oh, okay, like, all right. Like they got some, some breathing room. Not breathing room. That's not the right term. They got some, they got a chance. They got a chance to fucking pull it off. And then sure enough, fucking I went to my sister's room to talk to her real quick. And then I hear my dad in the background. Oh, he hit it. Oh, Mondo, he hit it. He hit it. And I was like, what? Like I come out, I was like, what? No way. And then boom, I see it tied. Like 97 even. And I'm like, oh my fucking gosh. I'm like, yo, I fucking missed it. But I just seen him at the end. He was just like, oh. Like just the intensity. This is what I love about the playoffs and seeing like young guys and seeing the young guys like that, like Ant Edwards and shit when he was talking that shit to KD in Minnesota. What was it? Game 1, game 2? One of those. And right now, Tyrese Maxey just yesterday talking that shit to the New York crowd. Bro, that shit just gets me so hyped because like we're all like in the same age group and shit like that. Like, well, Ant and like Tyrese Maxey, they probably like younger than me and shit, but like, Tatum and shit, Donovan Mitchell, like I'm in their age group right there. So when I see them like young players and shit, I'm just like I want to scream at the motherfucking TV like, let's go, motherfucker. Like, just get hyped, man. But that's the playoffs, man. That's the playoffs right now. Speaking of playoffs right now, Boston is trying to they're just trying to finish Miami. Honestly, right now they're up big, 29 points, 46-77 Boston. Third quarter with 9:10 left. Next is the Clippers. Dallas and Clipper game. Series tied 2-2 right now. So Dallas, let's get this win. Dallas, let's get this win tonight so we could finish it off back home in Dallas. And yes, I did say we. Yes, I did say we when mentioning Dallas because honestly, man, I'm at this point since the Lakers are out, I'm going for the Timberwolves. Fuck them. Honestly, fuck Denver and Murray. Yo, Murray, check up. I'm trying to guard Murray. I feel like I could guard Murray. Yeah, I could guard Murray. I can guard Murray. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. But shit. I feel like we can end it off here. I was gonna talk about Devin Booker. Devin Booker wants to spend his whole career in Phoenix. And I was just gonna elaborate on that, but at the same time, there's not really too much to elaborate about on that. He's just pretty much like following the footsteps of like, the greats like Kobe, Dirk Nowitzki, Tim Duncan, being with one team for your whole career, which is very rare these days because a bunch of people prioritize, they value however you want to look at it. They value winning more than loyalty. When in the long run, the loyalty will get you one. It will get you one. Dirk Nowitzki went to the finals one time. He didn't see it for another 5 years until going back in 2011 where he capitalized on the big three. Insane. But Devin Booker, I love the loyalty. Stay true to Phoenix, man. Stay true to Phoenix for real. With that being said, man, I feel like we can end it off here. Let me just find a good outro. Find a good outro to ride out to. But as always, y'all, be sure to love yourself before you love anyone else. Peace and one love, man. Straight up. Thanks for watching. Also, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, follow me on my socials. Instagram, Twitter, No Signal Mondo. Podcast IG, No Signal Pod. Spotify, No Signal Podcast. And my stream, kick.com/BeanMondo.